Welcome, Eric, the Laughing Monkey Music Show. Hey, man. Hey, Ben.
This is our second interview,
No,
third
third,
interview, fourth, third interview.
third. The first was
First
20.
one was amazing. Second one
It
was
was.
like, eh. And the third one, no, third guy.
Wait, are you
It's
talking about marriages?
it's a trifecta, Sean. It's going to be great.
It is.
So I
Okay.
was telling him that I'm a court low today. I hung out with it was a party of one yesterday, and I'm just getting my sea legs right now talking to you. But yesterday I hung out with my kids a little bit. We went to visit um my neighbors, my old neighbors, where I used to live about a mile away. And a friend of mine and a friend of theirs passed away. His name was Brian DeSanto, and he was a really dear friend of everybody and good friend of mine, but also a fan. So when I first moved into this area called Marinwood, um, Brian had this party, and he invited all of our neighborhood friends, and
Mhm.
he basically welcomed me into the neighborhood. But they were wearing "Sucker for a Pretty Face," my 1983 album with my face
Right.
cover, masks, right? And then they were playing "Sucker for a Pretty Face" album, and then they were also playing some Mr. Big music. And I know some of the other neighbors hadn't got a clue who I was, but Brian did, man. He was such a good guy. So sad. What a terrible death. But he was a traveler like me. I mean, there'd be times he'd text me and say, "Hey, I'm in the Philippines. Where are you?" And I'm like, "I'm in the Philippines." But we're thousands of miles away. The place is
By
huge,
the
you
way.
know. But yeah, and there were no kids. There was just like, maybe 15 people, Brian's mother and wife and sister and the whole bit. And then my kids came. And it was kind of cool where they go, "So where are your kids?" And I go, "Right there." And they go, "Those men?" You know, kind of made me feel good. And then they left. My sons went off to have a party, and I just hung out at the house because I'm on kind of a vacation now because I've done all this, uh, all, actually a year with Mr. Big, and I have 2 more months left on my dance card. But my vacation's been consisting of me sitting on the couch, knocking back beers and watching Netflix. Archer.
It's
I'm
good.
I'm on an Archer marathon. I don't know if you kids know what that is, but anyway.
I do. I haven't gotten through it yet. I got too big of a list to do. First off, thank you for making this the saddest opening I've had in almost 500 episodes. So
The saddest opening because you didn't get to talk. What the hell, man?
no, because opening on a sad note like that. I
Oh
actually
yeah, but
much respect.
it was also a celebration of life for this guy as well. They um one of the actually a teacher that taught my sons in school named Chris Case. He put together this sort of boulder with a plaque on it. That was kind of the entrance to this park, and it said to Brian DeSanto, and it was, and anyway, it was a celebration of life as well. Yeah, sad, but yes, good too.
It's sad. It's a shame. And well, at least it'll be forever immortalized too in this show. So it is. I much respect to him. That is sad. So I like your comeback though. I didn't get to talk first. That's pretty funny.
Is it? Can I ask you a question? So
Absolutely.
it's hot as balls here in Northern California, and I got the you kids at home, look it up. Uh, I have the fan on. You want me? I'm going to turn this fan off. Is it kind of hard to hear me?
I can hear you fine. You don't have to turn it off. It's fine.
Oh, okay.
It sounds great. The ice cooler is working for you. You're not just sitting on a block of ice with the ice
Yes.
you brought you.
It well, that's cooling up the beer. Anyway, no more beer.
You don't
Ugh,
have you have
done
no
with
more
that.
air conditioning. This tour's been pretty big. You
Uh,
can't
I,
afford the air
I
conditioning.
have that on too. Trust me, everything's blasting. Cool, sitting on a block of ice, got the fan going, air conditioning, and it's some of you folks that are experiencing 90-degree weather or 100 and I think it's 119 somewhere. A friend of mine was telling me
Where?
in Redding, up like more north, and here's probably 90 or 84.
So first off, go back to the show. I saw you finally play live for the Connecticut show.
I know
What
what
did
you
you,
think. What did you think of my little band?
I think your little band's got a chance to make it. Actually, I can't believe. Now we were talking a few times, but like you're like, "Yep, this is it," and your quote was, "Mr. Big said good night." Woo. That's what you did to me last time, right? So this album, and I've heard the whole album. The
Uh,
album, uh, it's probably your best album. Not going to BS you because I'll probably make fun of you. I will probably make fun of you during the show anyhow, so don't worry about it. But I do believe, honestly, this album is ridiculously like the best album. It's the most balanced album, the best produced. It's the best for your vocals. It's the most mixed songs, probably the most commercial album. Everybody shines, but nobody overplays. So I bet you some shredders might be like, it's not enough shredding, it's not enough this, it's not. This is the most balanced album.
yeah, I think there's
That's my
uh
feeling.
I think this yeah, I appreciate that, but I also think that it's definitely the Billy Sheehan Paul Gilbert show. They do shred. It's not like, come on, go listen to some Racer X records or something, if you want to hear like major shredding. Yeah,
Right.
it is balanced. I appreciate that. I mean, it didn't work. I don't know why it worked out that way, but I don't know if I would say it's the most commercial record yet. Lean Into It was definitely there were a lot of songs on that were on the radio, and there was a lot more that weren't. But
The time was
um
different about it too. What the radio plays now, I'm saying, but commercially like accessible. This one feels like there's a
accessible.
lot of songs on there. Yeah, maybe accessible is
Accessible.
more of a phrase. I just feel this is probably the most well balanced album I do. I think maybe because your vocals are more up in the front, it feels like it's not so much just them. And it's not a knock towards them. It feels like this is the album I've wanted.
Oh, I appreciate that. I too, usually every record, everybody in the band is like, I can't hear the bass, I can't hear the guitar. I'm always going, oh, really? I'm bathed in reverb, which I don't mind, but when you're kind of got that 80s reverb thing happening, you're far away into the mix. And this one hardly has any tricks at all. It's pretty, all the
You're right
instruments
there. You're
spaced out.
dry,
Yeah, I'm really dry compared. I mean,
like your humor.
usually I don't like it, but all of a sudden you can hear me, you know.
It sounds good. I mean, and I really enjoy. And as you've gotten older, your voice has changed a little bit.
Yeah.
But I like it, and I like the dryness. It's even more raspy, and so there's no reverb on it. So to me, it's actually elevated a little bit, not like a. I don't know what it is. I can't place what it is, and I've been listening to this for a while, the whole thing, and I've never listened to a whole album and like every song right away from Mr. Big. There's some songs like better than others, whatever. But this album from top to bottom, I loved every song. That is, I
I
kind
must
of
say,
really, I can't believe, and it's totally truth. I mean, when people hear this album, I don't usually.
when you were saying, thanks again. When you were saying like that, definitely my voice has changed a bit. Um, when Paul and I wrote the majority of the record in last November, came off the road and I live in Marin County, San Francisco, and I flew to Portland, and it was about maybe 3 weeks, and I'd come home on the weekends, and we wrote from scratch. We wrote all these songs, and I'm just sitting there playing acoustic guitar, and
Yeah,
he's playing acoustic or electric, and we're just kind of writing these songs, and I'm singing it really low, and the keys were a little low, and I was hoping that maybe we put the key up a little bit, like instead of like A, it would be like B,
right.
thing, or C or D, like all that stuff. Where it's not that I'm comfortable in that range like I used to be, but it definitely cuts through in a vocal. But he didn't do that at all. He just made it like exactly how we wrote it in lower keys. I mean, I wish well, anyway, I wish we didn't do that, but in a way, you hear that sort of, what do they call it, mature voice, or the way I talk, my grammar.
I'm gonna say gravelly because I will never use the word mature with you. So I will say I hear the
So,
scratchy gravelly voice. Oh, it's your mature voice. Yeah, exactly.
um, uh, I mean, it's more my speaking voice. Like I have this gravel kind of tone. I've had it for
Yeah,
years, and it kind of comes across on the record in a
it's
way.
good.
Yeah. And I did say in the beginning to Paul, and I'm not second guessing it. I love the record too. But I go, man, do you have a daddy brother or an Addicted Rush or Shy Boy or anything? You got something? He goes, nope. And I go, well, are we going to play some kind of fast song or whatever? And he goes, well, I mean, we're just going to write whatever we write every day. And that we just wrote like 10 songs, 11 songs, 12 songs, and none of them had that kind of Good Luck Trying has that Jimi Hendrix manic depression thing. Up on You has this sort of start me up Rolling Stones thing. One of the ballads, I think, who I no, no, not Who I Am, which is kind of a
Look at the
punk,
titles here.
almost like a wind me up punk song.
Yeah,
Um, but I kept waiting for the Addicted Rush and Daddy Brothers, and it never came, and it didn't bother me at all. And Paul was like, "Hey, let him listen to the
yeah,
first
it's already been
couple
done.
songs." Yeah, and we've already done it, and yeah, I mean, I was a little like, "Oh God, I don't know if the
No,
fans are
no,
gonna dig it."
this is current. This is
Yeah,
the
no,
kids are
no,
listening to. Hep cats. No, this is
I don't know
seriously. It
about,
doesn't look
but
good or
wait,
bad
Sean,
for
I
your
don't know about
problem.
current. I don't know about current. I
Yeah,
mean, more it's God, it's the word unique, or it's just it's from scratch,
right.
and we weren't thinking, wasn't like I've never thought in Mr. Big, I never thought about like, oh, let's get on the radio until I was on the radio with To Be With You Have and it Just Take My Heart. And I used to have record company people telling me, like, hey, give me that next To Be With You. And I'm like, oh shit, I don't know how to write a radio hit. I got lucky getting a radio hit, but we didn't think about that kind of stuff at all when we're writing this record. And also thinking about like, oh, we're famous for this fasty kind of rock songs. We're
Right.
famous for the To Be With You song. And he goes, nah, I'm like, just free your mind and the
Well,
rest.
here's, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think there is not. I don't know current music is kind of the radio very much anyhow because it's so bad now. But I think you guys did closure for your "To Be With You" with 1992. Like you owned that song. You went back. You owned the situation, the time period. Say, I
Yeah.
love it. I had fun. Like you already own that. It's out there. This is like just the next piece of just being an artist and writing the songs. And that's why I
Yeah.
love it so much because it just feels like it's now. I mean, I think is right out of here is the song. Kind of feels like it got that 70s rock. It almost feels like it could be like a Meatloaf have a groove, where it's got that gang vocals, where it's like these really rough, great guitars and vocals. They just the whole album just each song sounds different. It's not all
Yeah.
just like verse, chorus, verse. The riffs are different. The guitar is different for Paul. It's just a
There
good
was
album.
some
It feels happier.
I listened to that actually I listened to the record today. And there was a song called oh that's that As Good as It Gets
Yep.
that Paul and I wrote, right? And it has this and it's not. I kept waiting for Paul to throw on some heavy ass guitars on it, but he didn't want that. We wanted that sort of super tramp feel, or you know, early Genesis after Peter Gabriel,
Yeah.
early Phil Collins kind of stuff. And I go, you could lay some heavy guitars on it. Even our producer, Jay Rustin, he was like, no, this is what he wants. This is what he wants to sound. I guess maybe he didn't want to sound like, oh, okay, we're going to make, I don't know if we're going to shock anybody, but
No, it's kind of fun because
let's do our own thing. Let's write. There's no theme here. It's just a collection of really cool songs.
yeah, and that's what. And I heard this album, and I figured, oh, it's gonna be like the last album's gonna be good. I'm gonna like it. The favorites, whatever. And I heard it, so I was like, oh my god, this is way better than I thought. Like I expected a good album, but I always expect a good album. You
Wait,
guys are
wait,
four.
wait,
No,
wait.
that's what I
Way
told you. I'm
better
not
than
gonna.
you
I'm
thought.
not a butt kisser. I expected an okay album, strong. You guys are all good musicians. You know how to write
Yeah.
songs. I expected a good album, but I did not expect an album that is like a step away. I'm like, I would compare this to me with Lean. I know it's like blasphemy to say it because it's burned into everybody's minds as high schoolers or 20-year-olds. It's their album. You know what I mean? But if I'm talking songwriting and stuff, the variation in all these songs are so different from song to song as an artist and growth.
Yeah.
Yeah, that kind of thing. I'm not talking hits and albums. I'm like,
Mhm.
as an album though, the way the growth as a band and the energy you guys
I
have in this
like
album.
this record. I'm so happy that we did this record. I enjoyed doing the Defying Gravity album, not as much doing it. I enjoyed it
Right.
later when I was on the road. I think I mentioned this when I was on the road and I got used to singing and I felt comfortable singing and these songs like 1992.
Yep.
I can't remember the oh Open Your Eyes, I think was one of the songs we did live. And then I started to feel like, okay, this is mine. This feels like me now. And then I used to joke to the guys in the band, okay, I'm ready to do the record now. And the record had already been done. I felt like I really acted on that record. I mean, everybody loved it. I think you liked it,
Yeah.
1992. Everybody loved that
Yeah.
song. I was an actor in that song. On this album, there was pre-production. Me and Paul wrote the songs, we demoed them together, and we just had so much fun writing and recording and even hanging out. I mean, I'll tell you, I don't know, for 30 something years. I mean, our music's been around for 35 years. We haven't been together in the same room for more than,
Right.
well, 20 something, right? And back in the day, I've had great conversations with Paul. I've written a lot of songs with him in the past, but when we're on the tour bus, he's got the headphones on, listen to some music, or
Yeah.
this is way before he was teaching. I mean, he just kind of lived in his own little world, and I lived in my, the refrigerator, drinking beer, drinking wine with Billy or something, and just talking about the show, and Mr. Partier, I guess, back in the day, and just more, I was out there. But Paul was pretty quiet and reserved. And I never really talked to him. I mean, we wrote songs together, but I didn't know him, you know. I knew him as a band member and doing radio together and
Right.
performances and all that, but I didn't know his life. So when we were writing this record in November, I stayed at this Airbnb, like couple couple streets down from his house. And then I woke up in the morning and I had coffee with his wife Emmy and their son Marlon, and Japanese family. Take your shoes off before you go into the house and into the recording studio. And she'd make Japanese food. I mean, it was really, really cool and comfortable. And I talked to Paul and we had a great conversations, and you know it just if it felt good. I Anyway, blah 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 blah. I feel like I'm stuttering here, but I really, out of a lot of the albums we've done, I've enjoyed this kind of the most since, I don't remember. I mean, since our first and second album. We had so much fun just talking about anything and life, and I'm telling him about my life, and he was like, I had no idea. It was really, really sweet.
That is good. I was like you're trying to trick me to be saying it. You're mature, but I'm not. It sounds like you've grown up a little bit, and you're catching up to Paul, and you guys are no. Seriously,
No,
I think it shows. I think it shows in the
oh,
song. It does.
you can't say mature, but you can definitely say I've grown up a little bit.
You
Oh,
have grown
okay.
up. You've grown no.
Yeah, I'm
I
in
can't believe
limbo.
it's the songs. The lyrics are a little reflective. It's
Very reflective.
it's very
I like
relatable.
that.
It's very honest. It's true. And when I before just for you, not so much for you in the comments, when I said it'd be like a third album, only because it'd be fun to have a left turn album, not back in the third album. It's a left turn. I like surprising fans. You know what I mean? Not getting the same album. So that would have been kind of fun to be like, what the hell? I didn't expect this album. We're throwing everybody off course. That's
Yeah.
what I meant. I love the other albums. Please don't go after me.
I also loved Paul played all the instruments when he did demos. He's a great drummer, and he's totally into Mitch Mitchell and
Mm-hmm.
Keith Moon. So when he showed Nick the part for Good Luck Trying, down, 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 down,
Yeah,
down,
yeah,
Nick comes from that school too, anyway. But uh, when they were making this record, and when I say so me and Paul did all the demos, we wrote all the songs, and then I went to Japan and did some solo corporate shows. I was under contract. I had to go. This is the first time I've ever missed a recording session with Mr. Big, basic tracks. I'm always there doing guide vocals, mainly so they don't step on me. But I mean, come on, it's true. So and to show them the arrangements and harmonies and all that, but I wasn't there. And Paul was a musical director, and he basically said, okay, here's the songs. Now do whatever you want. And especially for Nick, he didn't say, hey, he did say, but good luck trying. This is what I want you to do. But this is my Mitch Mitchell
Yeah, it's pretty good.
sort of pantomime. Um, but Nick goes, is there any little detail you want me to do on other songs? And he goes, just have fun, And that's what it was. Same thing with Billy. Uh, there are I love the tone of his bass on this
Yeah,
record. And he definitely has that distorted rock and roll bass sound live and on some of the records that we have. But this reminds me of a little bit of like Lean Into It. It's got this really cool tone to it. And his runs are really neat. Really neat. Yeah, that's me. I'm a songwriter and I'm saying neat. It's
groovy.
really swell. Yeah, it's too clean out of sight. Anyway, um, I like the improv with Nick. I love what Billy's doing. I like that Paul wasn't in the same wheelhouse that he's always in with the heavy guitars. Or but like there's what's that song? Um I stumble and fall. We were never out of love. Oh, I can't remember. It's something. You got the titles over there?
Oh, who we are.
Who we are. Um, it's like da 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 da. Beautiful song, and the solo's great.
Mhm.
Anyway, they had the demos, but it was a very improv, raw record. And I liked what they did. I'm sorry I didn't make it. They were probably the happiest they've ever been in their lives. That I wasn't there. I say that all the time, but God, I wish I was there. But I thought they did a great job tracking it. And then when I came back from Japan, I went to Jay Rustin's studio in Los Angeles and basically sung the whole record 8, 9 days. 2 days later, I was in Texas, and but it's so funny. I was just about ready to call those guys because a couple of weeks ago I told my management, the guy's name is Tim Heine, great manager. He took over from Herbie Herbert, who managed us back in the
Right.
day.
Journey and stuff, and you and
Yeah. So I said to Tim, hey man, we really need to be doing Good Luck Trying and Up on You, and another one maybe to promote this new album of ours. And he goes, well, hey, it's up to you. Why don't you call the guys? I go, look, I need some help because everybody's so happy at the way things are right now. We're playing the entire Lean Into It album, plus some cover songs, be 30 Days in the Wild World, that kind of thing. And then we're playing Shy Boy and then Take Cover and Price You Gotta Pay. But I wanted to add a couple new ones from the album and a couple old ones we haven't been playing for the last year. And I could totally hear Pat Torpy right now if he was alive going, don't rock the boat. Everything's
slippery
perfect.
slope, Martin. Slippery slope, Martin.
Anyway, yeah, he goes, oh, God, Eric, don't rock the boat.
Yeah.
But we only have 2 months left on our dance card, We got, it's coming up. God, we leave on the July 10th for a show in Bulgaria, and we play all over Europe. And then August 23rd, that's all she wrote. I
What's the last show? Is that Bulgaria?
hopefully there's more shows, but it won't be any touring.
I mean, you guys sound so good, though. I mean,
Thanks.
truthfully, I mean, and like a band sound this good and doing this good of an album, it really is like ridiculous to be like, yeah, There's ending on a high note, but just I mean, this is like really just like putting it out there. Here's the thing: I think with Nick coming in, I think this is what happened. Nick is not a replacement, and that was always the problem. Nick is an addition, and that's what it is. He's an addition to the ensemble, and that's why it fits because it's not a replacement. It's just an addition, and the energy from that is so different now that it's shown in everything. And Paul, I'm gonna say Paul's been doing a lot of rock stuff on his soul stuff. Like he just did a Dio album, so he may have the rock stuff out on the side. So he's like, you know what I mean? Maybe he's working more on
You
the
know,
melody with you.
I gotta tell you something about that Dio album. I I've been hearing Paul always talk about this guy, this band Spocks Beard, and I'm like,
Oh yeah,
what a great title for a band, you know, it's a great name. And I never paid attention. I didn't, you know, he was telling me about this guy Neil Morris he was friends with, but then come to find out Nick DiVirgilio is in Spocks Beard, and that Dio album that Paul put together, like I go,
mm-hmm.
how did you even know who Nick was, or did you ever play with him? I know you're a big fan of Spock's Beard, but he goes, um, I had Nick play on Holy Diver on the Dio album.
Ah,
So, and made me feel okay. No offense to you prog folks out there, but I'm not really big on the new prog.
or the old
Or the
prog,
new
or
old
any
prog,
prog.
like Yes, Genesis, King Crimson. That's where I came from back in the 70s, but I don't know Spock's Beard, and I don't know any of the other bands. I don't even know. I listened to Big Big Train the other day, which was another band that Nick
I
has.
know there. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and I'm
Good.
like, yeah, they are really good. They could have thought a better name. It's kind of a coincidence that you don't settle for one Mr. Big, you settle for two bigs. Big Train. Anyway, he
Mr. Big Big Train.
he played on Dio, and I thought, and I listened to it, and I go, oh man, the guy, of course he can rock. Prague is rock, but
Yeah.
I wasn't in. Oh god, I'm totally shooting myself in the foot here.
No, I was surprised when I heard that. When I saw Nick was coming, I was like, oh my God, because I've had some of the guys on. I've had Neil on, and I've had a couple of guys on from Spock's Field.
Yeah.
Besides you, other people know other groups besides Mr. Big.
Oh, I know. You know. I mean,
And I was so
my mind
happy for
is
that announcement. I know.
my mind is open to all the prog stuff now. I mean, like I was had fear for some reason. I don't know why. And you know, I listened to something yesterday with I can't remember what band it is, but John Anderson from John
Band of
Anderson.
Geeks. Yeah, Band
No,
of Geeks. This is his solo one.
John John Anderson. Is that his
Yeah,
name? Yeah,
from Yes.
from Yes. But what was that
Yeah.
band?
Well, he has a band right now called Band of Geeks. He's touring with. They have a
Oh
new
my,
single out. It's a great
unbelievable.
song, right? Great song.
Unbelievable. I was so blown away. I never go on write something on Facebook or whatever. I went on Frontier's page and I wrote them. I'm like, this is the best thing I've heard since
Yeah.
Owner of a Lonely Heart. Yeah, blew my mind.
It was pretty exciting. That's a good release. Yeah, so there is good stuff. Sometimes the song's going long in prog. I admit that. Sometimes I'm like, all right, guys, wrap it up, wrap it up. Sometimes songs do
I
go
know.
on too long. I'm not a big long song guy, but I do like prog.
I don't. I mean, look, Starship Troopers and you know the old Yes stuff, and it did last for 6, 7 minutes or whatever. But
But it
I
was
don't know.
different songs
I
inside of
didn't
it, though,
have anything
really.
to
It was
do.
just different music. You know what I mean?
I didn't have anything to do back in the day, so like I had a lot of time in my hands. So
That's hilarious. So, I mean, and actually playing live and with Paul playing drums, you can even see in your new video that you guys do. You guys all play the same instruments. You guys switch them around. Really fun. But by watching the video, you know, I caught on like who plays what instruments because I could see Paul when he's playing the drums and what instruments he'd play, and like each guy what they're better at and what they're playing and the notes and stuff. You can tell who's stronger and who really plays what instrument
yeah,
more. But Paul
yeah.
was really funneled in on the drums. That was one of the things I noticed when he was just,
Oh, he knows
oh
what he's
yeah,
doing.
oh
I,
yeah,
I I'm okay. I'm actually a pretty good drummer, but not like Paul. Obviously not like Nick. But like you know, yeah, you see Billy, and he's like kind of
yeah,
more finesse kind of drummer.
yeah.
You know, and then me. There's a one part of that up on you video. It's like beat on down, and I'm doing this, and like everybody else is on the down, and I'm up. I'm like, what are you doing? You're
There's some great
embarrassing yourself.
a great cut. The way it's cut, it's a fun video. You
It
know,
is it's uh the concept from the director was like he saw us play live and we do that switcheroo thing
I love that.
where Paul plays the drums and I play bass and uh Nick, who's a great guitar player, plays guitar and Billy sings and he's great, you
Yeah,
know.
I didn't know he was such a good singer.
I I knew he sang a little bit in Talus, but yeah, he's really good. He's got really good timbre in his voice.
Yeah,
Um, I think it's from all those years of singing harmonies with Winery Dogs and Mr. Big as well. But anyway, where's my head at right now? What are we doing? Oh yeah, so he saw the switcheroo and then he said, okay, we're gonna do this. We did this in Indiana,
yeah.
where well at Sweetwater actually. So they had all the equipment. And he said, you're going to do the switcheroo and you're going to go batshit crazy. Okay, action. And we did it 5, 6 times, maybe a couple more, and a couple close-ups. And it's hilarious. Nick is the best part in it. Um, I love what Nick brings to the table. He's
Yeah.
got this spark where we all have a good sense of humor. Um, and little, even in my lyrics and satirical stuff and all, and there's some sarcasm here and there. Hello, file number 13. But Nick has got this slapstick comedy thing happening all the time. And all the right before shows, he takes this little photo of us in like the kitchen or where we're coming through to the club, or going up the stairs at some stadium gig. And he takes this like little cheesy um Polaroid picture of us. And he puts it up, and we're all kind of looking, trying to be cool and everything. And Nick's like, "Hey," just to kind of so comfortable in his clown shoes, really good guy. That I've been saying this lately, where I, I, I liked what you said, where he's not taking the place of Pat Torp. He's an
Yeah.
addition, and he's
Yeah.
he's his own man. But there is something about Nick that reminds me of Pat, and and it's the way he looks. There's a thing he he wears this blue baseball hat, this Los Angeles Dodgers hat, and he kind of tucks it down and he cocks it like this, like a
Oh, the
center
fold, the
fielder
fold.
from the
Yeah.
70s, like that. And he loves the Dodgers just like Pat did, and he loves sports. He's always on days off. He's going to some baseball game in Japan, or go and see some soccer, football, whatever Europeans want to call it.
Yeah.
And he's always going off to see some game. And that's how he kind of reminds me of Pat. And the fact that he like Pat, he's kind of like the glue that holds us together a little bit when we start to drift off and an argument about songs or set list or some silly stupid shit. He's like the guy in Moons, he's like Cher in Moonstruck. Snap out of it. Yeah, he's I like Nick a lot, and it kind of bums me out. It totally reminds me of Richie Kotzen, where Richie Kotzen got in our band and we made 2 albums and then we broke up, and then here's Nick doing his first album with us, and a great album it is, and I love and the energy and the great live, and then we're calling it quits. Yeah, bummer. Anyway,
Well, that's the whole point. That's not to rub it in. I'm saying it's so fantastic that it's literally like you're like, oh, it's so good. Like it's not
it
like,
it
well, it's time to pack it in. It's like I don't think it's time to pack it in.
it is so good. It's I don't I look, I'm boohoo moment, but I don't want to tour like we're doing right now. I don't want to be on the road for a year or 6 months. And I mean, it's fun and the gigs are great, but the traveling takes its toll. It just does. I don't want to sleep on a tour bus all the time, even though everybody, oh, it's like a camping trip. No, it's not. No, you're sleeping in a coffin with like
I couldn't do it.
13 other people, and all the shoes are in the hallway. Yeah, it's like when
Yeah,
you're
it's
growing
gonna
up.
make me rap. But
Oh, it's yeah. And it's so easy to just for me, like, oh, it's just I don't want to, I can't drink on the road. I do, but I can't because I gotta sing, every night. I gotta be healthy and everything and I
but you
love
look great. You're like what? You're like what? 25 years old, right? You look great for 25. You're not aging at all.
25 two or three times.
All right, the magic of
Thank
the
you.
camera. I've seen you in person now. You look young. You look fine. You're so youthful.
Stop it,
Even
man.
chasing it.
Hey, you know that joke they always say, I've told you this too, but I still get a kick out of it. I was in Europe one time and these people are asking me for my autograph. I'm signing and they go, God, you look so young. You can't. And I wasn't wearing glasses. I probably had like, the bags underneath my eyes, but they go, you look so young. And then they get really close to me and they go, um,
Uh,
like I'm hiding some chin and hiding some crow's feet. Um,
you look fine. So when we met, I mean, when you say, oh, you're saying me like, oh, your skin looks so great to me. You're like harassing me. So I get it. I actually want to say nice about you for a second here. So pretend I'm not talking about you. So after the show, meeting you and saying actually in person after all these interviews, um, it was neat the way you guys come out. First, Billy comes out. I feel like a wedding party. Billy comes out. Everyone's gathered like these little groups. I've never been in a situation like that. So if people haven't been in a situation, sometimes every meet and greet different, or if you're seeing a band, it's always different. The rooms are different, I'm sure. But this way it was set in this place. It was like everyone had like little groups, and then first Billy comes out and he goes to each person. He's like meeting the bride and the groom's family and stuff.
oh, how you
Very
doing,
stoic. I met
boys?
him. Yeah, yeah. He's talking to me, and I met him for 2 minutes. My friend had actually seen Billy a few times, and so we're going on and on. And then I think Nick came out next,
Yeah.
and Nick is so um man on the street where he was behind me talking. I didn't realize it was him at first. I was he was waiting for you to give him about because he's so blended in, like such a relaxed guy. His energy was not like I was just on stage. Like he was just like, "Hey, how you doing?" You know, so chill. Then you
He's a
come out and you are really good to the fans. You always got a minute for the fans, and you're shaking hands. And everybody had these gifts for you, and it was nice. It was very touching. I know I was busting on you, giving you a hard time about it,
No,
but
I like it. And look, I get a little embarrassed. I mean, you give me all these gifts and we've already done sort of the gift giving on stage in a way where I've entertained you, you entertain me in a way. I mean, I get so much from the audience, and that's gift enough. I know it sounds cliche, but
no, no, no. I think you meet me
corny.
actually meeting you. No, you meeting me was probably gift enough for you. I felt like that was giving you enough right there. So I didn't bring anything for you. The gift of our relationship is more than enough. But
You're a
the way
lot
that you poured
taller
into
than
me,
I thought you were.
I am. I'm gonna have to send you a picture because it's really great. I feel like it's like parent teacher day. Um,
That's how I feel when I stand next to Billy and
Billy,
Paul.
I felt
And
small next to Billy. He's tall.
he's really tall. Paul, Paul
He
doesn't
didn't
really
come out. He didn't come out.
no,
Yeah,
he doesn't like to.
he's shy. He's shy.
He's shy, but he's either teaching because he
Yeah.
teaches all day long online. It's got a I'm not bullshitting. He's got like 2,000 plus students all over the world, but he's always talking to his wife and kid on FaceTime. So, and I go, Paul, there's a lot of friends out here. They'd love to meet you. And he's like, oh, okay, well, I got my family. And I'm like, okay. And he doesn't mind if I say to the fans out there, like, look, Paul's not coming out. Not the fans, but the people that get backstage.
Yeah.
They're friends of either mine. Billy has tons of guests and family and friends and stuff. So they'll go, do you think Paul Gilbert could sign this? And, I don't know if you saw me, but I got guitars and albums and I'm walking in. Paul, and he goes, hold on, Emmy. Yeah. Hey, how you doing? Like he's not like, oh, what do you want? No, he just
Oh,
doesn't, he just doesn't really come out. Mainly, he's got a little hearing thing going on where people, I don't know why people who already know that. First of all, I stand on stage with the band's pretty loud at times, right?
yeah.
Wear the in-ears. And then when I come backstage, they go, you were really great tonight. Thank you so much. I'm like, what? You know, I'd be like, like anyway, oh yeah, what I was saying, standing there with my band, and Nick is a little taller than me now too. Me and Pat used to be the same,
Yeah.
but Nick's a little taller, and even when we had Matt Starr, little taller, and God, I'm the shortest guy in the band now. It used to look like this, it'd be Paul and it'd be me and Pat. Now it's like it's a little kind of like
Yeah.
it's the Partridge Family now, you know.
Actually, you want to start with the Partridge Family? When you were playing bass, you kind of reminded me.
Of Lori Partridge, or come on,
No, Danny, when he played bass because the
Danny
curly hair and the big
Bonaducci.
bass.
All right,
Come on,
right,
you have not
right.
heard that yet? I literally turned to my friend. I go, what am I seeing? I go, Danny Bonaducci, because the bass was so big on you because he's so.
Oh my, no, no, I was just kidding around with Lori Partridge. I forgot about Danny Bonaducci. Yeah, totally.
Come on, it
I
was, but it's a big bass. People have to realize how big his bass is.
It
Anybody
is,
would
and
look
it's
comically
heavy.
small. Oh yeah, it looks
It's
huge.
heavy. Um, I think Nick was playing the double neck bass in Up on You
Yeah,
video,
yeah.
and he's funny as hell, just running around and everything. And they goes, the director Vincent goes, "Okay, guys, they were setting up for another take. Let's go." And like, Nick's like, "My back is killing me. Give me a break." But holding Billy's bass,
Yeah.
it is really heavy, and it's got all this gear on it, and um,
But you
it's
sounded good. You did sound good though, despite the Danny Bonaducci vibe.
mm,
You you delivered the goods. You guys all actually sound good. You switched. It
oh,
was
it's so
very
much
impressive.
fun. And then like how Billy is in the beginning, he's like a total MC, and
I
he's
was
talking
working
to
the
the
crowd.
audience, and, he goes, "And the greatest bass player in the whole wide world. He's taught me everything I know." Shtick.
Yeah,
And then I'm like, "Bow, bow, da, 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 da," and he's like, it's just, I, I really have a blast playing that moment, doing that
it's
moment.
a
And
fun show.
even seeing Paul, going,
Oh,
it's hilarious. And they're
it's
good,
a
but they're good.
yeah.
They're good. They're good. We look, when we first did this, we were in Japan, what a shock. And we played Ain't That a Shame at Budokan, just like Cheap Trick.
Oh wow,
And we did Suffragette City one time. We did, uh,
really?
oh yeah, man, we did Smoke on the Water with me playing guitar. Just that, I mean, playing it sold out Budokan, and I'm like, I'm backstage, and I'm coming up the stair, dad, dad, dad. Oh man, what a thrill! And
Who would have
we
ever thought
played.
that one?
Have you heard the news? There's good rock at night. That's on recording. But the best time we ever did it, best time, Sean. I wish it was. I know there's a little bit of recording of it on YouTube, but oh man, I'm dying for this one. Um, I played drums. Um, Pat Torpy played bass. Billy played guitar, and Paul came out dressed as Mick Jagger. We played Brown Sugar. Paul had that like stars, like Uncle Sam hat. Remember
Yeah.
when I think Jagger had like a upside down horseshoe or something, and he's like, I'm at, doing his brown sugar. And then I think then Paul played guitar, and he's a guitar player, but Paul played guitar so Billy could come out and play the sax solo.
Oh
He
God.
he played sax, and he goes, I go, "Are you kidding? You know how to do this?" And he goes, "Yeah, I played sax in high school." I'm like, "Okay." And it's like, I mean, it was kick ass, man. It was the best.
Maybe that's what's going to happen. That's why he's on a tour because he has a solo album. He's going to be singing and playing everything. And the new Billy Sheen solo is going to be the next year. So that's could be coming out. Is what it is. He's shown he's done it all.
Oh, did he? I
I think
didn't
it's
know
great.
that.
Are you
I didn't.
recording any of this for like a live show, like a live album afterwards?
We did a couple weeks into our, or maybe a month into our tour last year.
Mm-hmm.
Did Budokan, and we
Okay.
did a live record DVD there, and uh, I think Lean Into It Live is out now, but uh, I think the Mr. Big Finish live is coming out, and that's
Oh,
like a lot more. That's the Lean Into It album plus a bunch of songs that we do live. But we do an acoustic set. We do like a little B stage right in the middle of Budokan, and we play 5 or 6 songs we haven't done in years. I mean, The Chain, Big Love, a lot of songs that are fan favorites that we never played before. I haven't played since the late
Yeah.
80s, 90s. Yeah,
That's,
it was a blast. There was like 26 songs on it. And that's gonna come out shortly after July 12th when 10 comes
and
out.
the hands are backwards. It's the autism in me is having a hard time looking at the album cover, freaking out because they're backwards.
Yeah, is it
Who did
bad?
that?
I mean, you know
I
what?
don't know. No, I think everyone else is fine with it. It's just me. I'm like, it's backwards.
Yeah.
Maybe maybe because of the shape of the sphere, the globe thing. It
Is it
wouldn't
like
look
this?
great with that.
It is
No,
like
it's
that.
like this.
Yeah, it is like a eagle. I we were trying to come up with it took us longer to come up with an album cover and a little pun that goes with it, like I'll, lean into it, bump ahead, hey man, actual size, you know, stories we could tell, defying gravity, what's the other, and oh, what if?
What if?
Um, yeah, it took us forever. It took us longer to do that than actual write the songs for the record. I've said this. I said this in another podcast, but I don't know. Can I use the same thing here? I don't know if I can do that.
It's not
Anyway,
trademarked. Yeah. Cool. You
no,
can. It's
I
fine.
want to say this so, and I hope I don't get in trouble. This is my second time saying it, and I
You can
know.
even name the podcast. Give them a shout out. I support everybody. Give them a shout out. It's
I
cool.
can't remember. I can't remember. So, um,
Better not
uh,
forget my
we're trying
podcast.
to we're trying to come up with the album cover, and
Yeah.
Paul found something on like the Library of Congress. What is that called? It's like it's not the statute of limitations, but it's when you can use
Yeah.
something that's
Copyright law wears off on something we are allowed to.
I can't
Like
remember the
public
name.
domain. Public domain.
Public domain, that's it. And so they at the Library of Congress, they have a public domain section where you can find all these photos, old stuff. Um, but anyway, he found all these photos, and I did too. I found like it's like a Statue of Liberty, pieces of the Statue of Liberty in a field with all these tents, and they were building it. And like I don't know what I think I was going to say, pass the torch or some silly stuff like that. But I thought that would be a cool album cover. And then Paul just kept coming up with stuff that had like the sepia tone, black and white photo with the red Mr. Big logo. I'm like, yeah, I think we've done that, brother. I think that's lean into it. And he goes, well, what's like an
Yeah.
homage to lean into it? And I kept saying no, and other people didn't like certain things, and we just round and round. And Paul got so freaking frustrated that he found this photo, and it was the back end of a cow, the tail kind of going, and he was going to call it in hindsight,
That's
right?
actually pretty good.
It is,
It's better than doing like lean out of it or something like to bookend
yeah,
the
yeah.
whole thing.
He goes, in hindsight, and everybody laughed. I mean, we all loved it as a joke, but Paul was like, "Nope, that this is it." And our management is saying, "Okay, you guys come up with a cover." And Billy's like, "I'm good with it," out of frustration. Even Nick was like, "Salute," and I'm like, "Hell no! What are you doing?" It's like a career ender. Uh,
See, you can't
yeah,
help it.
the end should have been.
The end.
Uh,
Oh, that'd be
Oh,
better.
thank God we didn't do it though. And then I found this photo. It looked like the United Benetton colors. It was these hands in a like blue sky with clouds, and had all these and 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 the hands were painted with you know current Atlas, basically
Right.
Brazil, all this stuff. And then I gave it to our art director Larry Fremantle, who's been doing all the albums for us for years. He was with Atlantic, and now he does it freelance. Anyway, and then he got that sort of I don't know 15th century old Latin
Yeah.
looking,
Yeah.
and and I think and it's cool. I liked
Yeah.
it. Uh, I think the other guys in the band were like, yeah, whatever. We don't care anymore. It's not that we don't care anymore. I don't know if anybody stands behind it. I bet if you even told Billy, hey, I've seen your album cover. And Billy's like, what? He'll probably go like, I don't remember, you know, because it was one of those things like pulling teeth to try to come up with something cool. Because I think we ran its course. Pat Torpey used to come up with some great stuff. He found that head sticking out of the manhole cover
Yeah, the
in
bump ahead.
the Detroit library. Yeah, and said, "Hey," and maybe even Billy looked at it and goes, "Hey, bump ahead," and that's how we worked. That's how that was our thing, and even lean into it. There's this guy Bob Diffrin who worked for Atlantic. He was a main guy artist, and we were trying to come up with a lean into it album. We had we, everything. I think Billy or Pat would say, hey, when the going gets rough or when you facing adversity, don't run away, just lean into it. And it was kind of funny because that's how he looked
Right.
at our lives in the music world. And when he was trying to come up with the cover, he couldn't. I think he got his wife or something to dress kind of scantily and sit on a plunger, like one of like dynamite plunger. Was like, ixnay on that, man. We didn't dig that. And then he saw this the train coming out of the train barn from the famous Montmartre in Paris. And yeah, funny how things kind of work out,
I
you
would
know.
love to see a book, a coffee table book of all the album covers you guys didn't do, and the stories behind them. That would be your next project. That'd be hilarious.
I was looking at actual size, the one with Richie Kotzen, and man, Larry Fremantle, that was really cool. There was like a little kid, and he looked like Dennis the Menace from behind, with like this real cool. Remember postcards from the '60s? It had that real
Yeah,
bright colors to it.
yeah. Norman Rockwell feel to it, kind of.
Almost that. And the kid in little red pants and a red blue and white striped shirt, and he's carrying what looks like the Trans-American building or something, this pointed, gigantic building, actual size. And on the back, it was this flatbed truck with this gigantic, 20 stories high red Converse All-Star Chuck sneaker. And then I saw this yesterday on the truck itself. It said big, what it said, like big towing company, big toe, and then inside it had pictures of us, and we were kind of like larger than life, and Richie's standing on like a little a truck, like a life
Yeah,
size. Yeah, and then I'm sitting on a train, you know, really cool.
they were creative. I think, like you said, this album's a good album cover. It's good. It's a good album though. So I mean,
Yeah, thank God. It is a
No,
great.
seriously, it is. I mean, I joke with you a lot. I can't believe how diverse the songs are, though.
All
I
right.
mean, it's just good. I think the shame is not hearing these songs live. I mean, let's you guys sit down and do like some kind of special performance and do the whole album in like in a sit down situation somewhere, and then just release it as a DVD or something so people can see this live. I'd love to hear you do some of these songs live.
I
You
would
know,
love to do Good Luck Trying and Up on You. And I wonder if the band would get mad if like I mean, if something happened, like maybe years ago, when it's kind of one of our famous stories from the past where Paul saluted the audience with the drill. He's like, hey, and then he got his hair stuck in the drill, right? Well, if that happens again, and instead of Billy going out there and doing a solo, maybe I'll just bring my acoustic guitar out and start singing. There's a song on the record that I absolutely love. It's called The Frame, and it is some deep, dark
dark.
lyrics.
It's a dark album. It's a dark song.
Yeah, it is. It was actually called
Beautiful song.
To Be With You Dark before I wrote the lyrics. Yeah, it's a song about, it was a amicable split between my wife and I, but I had to go on the road. We couldn't, it was like, okay, I guess we're done. And then like the next couple of days later, I went on the road, and it was it was hard to process all of it.
Yeah,
So
the
I went on the
closure.
road and I came back home to go collect some of my stuff. And and it was like I didn't even live there. I never lived there. It was so weird to look around and just didn't even smell like me anymore.
Oh,
No dirty socks in the corner. Yeah. And it was, and so the song is about that. And it
should
was,
not
it,
be with you. Should have
it
been the
was,
title.
yeah, it was, I'm the one who doesn't want to be with you anymore. Anyway, um, it's a sad ass song, but,
It's a good song though. It does
yeah,
belong on the album because it's a reflective album.
it was my damn fault. It's my damn fault. And you even hear it in the song. So anyway, to see, I'm so glad. Even Paul, when I played it for him, he's like, you sure you want to do this? You sure you want to wear your heart on your sleeve? And I'm like, I do. I didn't, I wasn't going to save it for a solo album. This would have, I know what Paul could do. I wanted that sort of, Beatle-esque thing that he does when he puts it, like when he wrote Nothing But Love or Green Tinted 60s Fine. He can spin a song. It was totally stripped down. It kind of had like a Promise of the Moon feel to it. These kind of beautiful melodies and lyrics, and I knew what Paul could do to it, and he did it such a fantastic Beatle-esque kind of job for it. But when he was like, these lyrics are pretty dark. I don't. First of all, Billy's not going to like it, and I knew he probably wouldn't dig it at all. I don't know what he feels about it, but Paul played it for his wife, and the wife was like, "You need to put this on the record." So,
Well, and I'll say but to be with you, felt that, and just take my heart was about your relationship. I mean, it honors who you are. It's not like you're trying to do this at good times. You just put it out there as a songwriter. That's it's another layer.
uh,
It's good.
yeah,
It
I'm
did.
so
When I first heard it, I was listening to it. I
thankful
was
that
like,
everybody
whoa.
was
The
okay with
lyrics, I
that.
was like, whoa. You know,
It is
first
a
time.
whoa
So
moment, but God damn it, I'm so happy that everybody was cool with it putting on the record. Hey, look, I didn't know if everybody was cool putting To Be With You on the record. I didn't really have to
yeah,
sell them too hard, but I said, when I first played it for them, they go, what a great song. Oh, you want this on the record? It was that kind of vibe. It was like, I wrote this song and we were going pretty straight ahead rock and roll.
yeah.
We had one ballad, Anything for You, on the first album, and it was big, epic rock and roll song. And I played it for Paul. Hey, I wrote this song a long time ago. And listened to the cassette, and he's like, "Wow, that's really cool. Very Beatlesque." And I played it for Pat Torpey. What a beautiful song. Even Billy goes, "Wow, that's a great song." Okay, guys, you got any songs that we can put? I mean, it was really like, no, no, no. I'd like this to go on the record. And Kevin Elson, our producer, who did all the Journey records, so the great first four. Um, Kevin goes, "Man, this song needs to be on the record." And then everybody was like, "Okay, sure." And it just kept pushing back, and all these other songs we had a lot of great songs on Lean Into It.
Yeah,
And then Kevin goes, "Yeah, let's just put it on the end of the record, kind of like a little dessert, like from all those meat and potatoes." Thank
yeah.
God. But it's like the frame, it's not a radio. Well, it could be. Anything could be on the radio, I guess, but it's not it wasn't written for the radio. It was written for some of these, some of you folks out there struggling with this kind of stuff. So, and I struggled with it, boy. It's like I
Well,
never existed. I was like, what happened? But it all worked out in the end. It's all good.
well,
Me and the ex are great.
that's good to hear. That's good to hear. So, and all these songs, you got a lot of good songs out of it, at least, right? At least it wasn't just a total waste of your time. you know, but it's very cathartic though. You write these songs, and so with Mr. Big, you also, as we, I don't keep you forever here, but I know you're getting towards you're working on other recording another project, and the other question is, afterwards, after Mr. Big, maybe you can do some of these songs live, or you gonna go out and do some more Eric Martin, Mr. Big, or Big. You know what I'm saying? Like, where are you going from there?
So yeah, 2 months left of Mr. Big, and starting to sink in. It's bumming me out because we are really tight live, and it's not when we say goodbye for the last time, which I think it's in like
Yeah.
Romania or something like that, and we've already
Yeah.
said
Why would you
goodbye.
pick that place? There's something special. That's just
Hey, look, everybody always says it, huh? How come you're not playing Alabama? It's we 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 put our little suggestion box paper in the box, and we asked management, hey, like I even said, I go, I really want to play Dublin, Ireland. I need to play in Belfast. We need to play there. And I pushed and pushed, and it wasn't going to happen. And now it's happening. I'm going to be playing there about a week and a half. But we can suggest it's up to management. It's a management decision. I mean, there's times where I got this guy Mark Daly, great Irish singer songwriter, got a great killer band, and I got him to open I don't know, a couple of weeks into our tour when we played in the US, and they were like, no way, you can't. It kind of, we can only suggest, right? And we could say we can ask for certain things, but it's all business, and the management puts it all together. And in the end, where everybody's happy, except to one, and except Alabama. I
well,
mean, look,
it's
like, how come you didn't play my favorite song? Really? We just played 23 freaking songs. They go, yeah, but you didn't play my favorite song. That always happens.
I can't
So
think. I was surprised. It was a long show. You guys played a long show. No opening act. You
that
guys
was
delivered it. It was
plus.
good. Yeah, it was good.
Oh, it's
I,
a
and
bit.
and that's the thing. I mean, if you guys did a mediocre show, you know, and did an okay album, it'd be like, well, maybe it's time. But man, you guys are tight, and you just one of your best
Oh,
albums
no.
ever. It's like,
Okay,
sweet
that's what I'm
babies,
saying.
come
So
on.
it's tight. Everybody's getting along so great, and we're just loving each other. Um, and it's not, and when we part, it's not a breakup. We're all going to communicate with each other and
Right.
hang out. And I'm always on Billy Sheehan's Facebook page watching him cook or something. And I'll reach out to Paul and Nick. Yeah, I love Nick. I want to see, he's probably going to be doing his big train. I don't know what Billy's going to do. I know he plays on a lot of people's records lately and has been for a couple of years. Paul will continue to teach. He's always talking about spending more time with his family. My kids are all grown up. Um, I I don't want to be here. I love Marin County, but I don't want to be here. I do want to be on the road, but not touring forever. Maybe a couple months, 2 or 3
Yeah.
months a year. I do have some irons in the fire. So after the last Mr. Big tour gig in Buffalo, New York, um, 2.5 weeks ago, uh, Billy and Nick and Paul, they went to their families and barbecue and hang out and start their vacation along as well as the crew. But I went to Los Angeles to record an album with Tak Matsumoto Group called TMG, something I did 20 years ago with me, Jack Blades from Night Ranger, and Chris Frazier, the drummer for Foreigner. And then Tak Matsumoto is like a legendary guitar player. He plays in a band called
Yeah.
Beats, B''Z, amazing band. I mean, I'm not shitting you with 90 million records. I mean, they're huge. And Tak wanted to get this American rock and roll feel for a band. The record went platinum, great songs on it, state of the art sound. And then we did a promotional tour with TV and radio and all these really cool performances. And then we came back and did 20 sold out shows in Japan, including Budokan. I think there was 2 Budokans. Anyway, and then I go, God, this is so much fun. Man, we should do this again. And he goes, let me think about it. So he thought about it 20 years later. This is our second album, TMG2. It's kind of like a reunion, but it's me, Jack Blades. Matt Sorum is our new drummer now from
Okay.
Guns,
Yep.
and the Cult.
And the
Uh,
Cult.
and then so all of us, we wrote all these songs and we recorded them for the last 2 weeks. And I've been home for about 4 or 5 days, going back out with Mr. Big. Like I said, July 10th, August 23rd, Mr. Big's done. And then 5, 6 days later, I fly to Japan to rehearse for a tour for TMG in Japan. And then I come home, and that thing I was talking about earlier with like me doing solo corporate shows. So I have
Yeah, yeah.
this other side, kind of a Michael Bublé kind of side where I sing some Japanese pop songs and some of
Oh,
my
Mr. Vocalist.
what?
This is from the Mr. Vocalist series.
Yeah, Mr.
Same
Vocalist.
people.
And this is going to be a Mr. Vocalist Christmas tour. And I think I'm gonna play like 5 or 6 shows in Japan again. So my passport's gonna be filled up with stamps. And then January, oh, and then the TMG record will be coming out like in September. So I have 2 records coming out, 3 records because of live Mr. Big album. And then it's even on the calendar right here on my laptop. January 1st. Now what? It says now what? So maybe karaoke bars, bar mitzvahs, laundromat openings.
IHOP parking lot, whatever it takes.
Oh, I love that. After the show, I love going to the parking lot and playing another show.
I've
But
seen
I'll
you
probably,
clips online doing that. You know,
I love
people.
it. I love
I
it.
know you do.
I love that stuff. They go, oh, you didn't. It's for the people. They go, you didn't play my favorite song. Ah, God damn it. You know. So, but I probably will do some acoustic touring, and it's always it'll be in the U.S., but I go to the UK, little Ireland, and I'll do that for a couple months out of a year. Come home, nobody's here.
Oh,
I know, but I mean, it's okay. It's okay, and
well,
maybe
probably.
wait for that Billy Sheehan phone call for 5 years from now. I'll be an old man.
Hopefully, I'll get to see you play live and see you again. I mean, you really do put on a good show. You know, it's
Yeah, it's
even if it's
I,
solo, even if you get your acoustic guitar, I'll be the other one in the audience seeing you. Your wheelchair. I'll come out and support you. Push you
woohoo,
back out to the car.
hell on wheels, wheel them up, boys. All right. Yeah, I'll see you around.
I know
We're
you will.
pals now.
Yeah, yeah, we
All
will. And
right.
I'll.
Hey,
Hmm?
next time, the next time
Yeah,
around, let's talk.
we will. All right, man. Thank you.
All right, Sean. See you later,
Okay.
brother.
All right.